Imagine waking up to a world where China no longer exists. No Shanghai, no Beijing, no Great Wall, no Mandarin language, no Made in China tags on your clothes, phone, or the laptop you're watching this video on. Overnight, the global economy would shake, industries would collapse, millions would be left unemployed, and entire cultures would feel the void left behind. For centuries, China has been a pillar of global civilization, economy, and innovation. From ancient inventions to modern technological breakthroughs, its influence stretches across every aspect of daily life, even for those who have never set foot in the country. But what if it all vanished? What would the world truly lose if China stopped existing? The first and most immediate impact would be the collapse of the global supply chain. China is often called the world's factory, producing everything from smartphones to shoes, furniture to pharmaceuticals, cars to clothing. If China were to disappear, millions of companies worldwide would struggle to find new suppliers, prices would skyrocket, and essential goods would become scarce. Apple, for example, manufactures most of its iPhones in China. If China ceased to exist, finding an alternative manufacturing hub capable of producing electronics at the same scale, speed, and efficiency would be nearly impossible in the short term. Factories in Vietnam, India, or Mexico might try to fill the gap, but production costs would soar, and supply chain disruptions would cripple the industry. And it's not just technology. 80% of the world's air conditioners, 70% of mobile phones, and over 60% of shoes come from China. Without Chinese factories, millions of stores would sit empty, and countless businesses would go bankrupt. The global economy would enter a state of crisis unlike anything we've seen before. China isn't just a manufacturing powerhouse, it's also the second largest economy in the world. It is a major trading partner for over 120 countries, meaning its disappearance would send economic shockwaves across the planet. Many nations, especially in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, depend on China for infrastructure projects, loans, and economic partnerships. If China ceased to exist, entire industries would crumble, foreign investments would dry up, and countries relying on Chinese trade would fall into severe recessions. The United States and European Union would also feel the impact. China owns more than $850 billion in US debt, meaning a sudden disappearance would destabilize financial markets, trigger a global stock market crash, and create an economic domino effect that could last for decades. Meanwhile, oil-exporting countries like Saudi Arabia and Russia depend heavily on China's demand for energy. Without China buying millions of barrels of oil per day, the global energy market would collapse, leading to an economic crisis in oil-producing nations. Simply put, China's disappearance would be an economic catastrophe. China has one of the most advanced infrastructure systems in the world. It has built more high-speed rail networks than the rest of the world combined, constructing thousands of miles of railways, highways, and bridges at an unprecedented rate. China is also the world's largest builder of skyscrapers, producing cutting-edge designs and constructing entire cities at record speeds. If China were gone, the expertise and technology behind such rapid infrastructure development would disappear too, significantly slowing down global urbanization and modernization. Additionally, the Belt and Road Initiative, China's ambitious project to connect Asia, Europe, and Africa through massive infrastructure investments, would vanish overnight. Countries that have been relying on China for roads, ports, and rail systems would be left stranded, struggling to complete unfinished projects. Without China, the entire global construction and development industry would grind to a halt. Many people don't realize that China is a leading force in technology and scientific research. Its contributions go far beyond manufacturing. China is at the forefront of artificial intelligence, quantum computing, space exploration, and renewable energy. China is currently the largest producer of solar panels, wind turbines, and electric vehicles. Without it, the world would struggle to meet climate goals, as China plays a crucial role in providing affordable green technology. The space industry would also take a massive hit. China has its own space station, a successful Mars rover, and ambitious plans for future lunar missions. If China disappeared, the space race would slow down significantly, and global advancements in astronomy and exploration would suffer. Furthermore, China's AI and 5G technology are some of the most advanced in the world. The absence of Chinese tech giants like Huawei, Tencent, and Alibaba would delay the progress of the digital revolution. China isn't just an economic or technological powerhouse, it's one of the most culturally influential nations in history. Without China, the world would lose a civilization that has shaped art, philosophy, language, and traditions for over 5,000 years. Ancient Chinese philosophy, from Confucianism to Taoism, has influenced political systems, moral values, and ways of thinking in countless societies. The Chinese language, one of the oldest and most complex in the world, would vanish, erasing a linguistic tradition that connects over 1 billion people. Cuisine would never be the same. No more dim sum, no more dumplings, no more Peking duck or Sichuan hot pot. Chinese food has shaped culinary traditions across the globe, from America to Africa, from Europe to Southeast Asia. Traditional Chinese medicine, which has been practiced for thousands of years, would also disappear, erasing centuries of medical knowledge and natural healing techniques. The loss of China would create a cultural black hole, stripping the world of one of its oldest and richest traditions. If China disappeared, a major question would emerge: who would fill the power vacuum? Would India take its place as the world's manufacturing hub? Would the United States become the undisputed global leader once again? Or would a new superpower emerge from the chaos? With China gone, other nations would scramble to dominate the industries and markets that China once controlled. Countries like India, Vietnam, and Indonesia might rise in global manufacturing, but they wouldn't be able to match China's efficiency and scale anytime soon. Geopolitically, the balance of power would shift dramatically. The United States and Russia would likely compete to fill the void left behind, while Europe might struggle with economic and political instability due to its heavy reliance on Chinese trade. So, what would happen if China stopped existing? The global economy would collapse, the supply chain would break down, and millions of businesses would fail overnight. Scientific progress would slow down, space exploration would fall behind, and climate goals would become impossible to reach. The world would lose 5,000 years of culture, traditions, and philosophy that have shaped societies worldwide. And politically, a massive power vacuum would destabilize international relations, leading to new conflicts and economic struggles. China is more than just a country. It's a pillar of modern civilization, one whose influence is woven into the fabric of daily life across the planet. Without it, the world as we know it would be unrecognizable. But what do you think? Would the world be better off without China, or would its absence be a global catastrophe? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into how different countries shape our world.